Hey, how you doing today? I am Tequila Coleman. We're going to continue in our forgiveness series. Now, in this video, we are going to identify your triggers, okay? Triggers, whenever you feel yourself being triggered, that trigger is trying to communicate something to you about yourself, okay? So, number one, we don't want to ignore our triggers. Okay, we want to identify or become aware of what our triggers are, how this trigger comes about, and then begin to put boundaries in place so that you're no longer being triggered by your triggers. Okay, so and this again, this is part of forgiveness, right? Because it's hard to forgive a person when they are always triggering you. Okay. So we got to put things in place so that, a boundary is being communicated to the individual who's triggering you. But also you have to put a boundary in place so that you're not allowing the enemy to, pull you into this very thing that God is trying to set you free from. Okay. So, number one, again, you want to begin to identify what are your triggers. Okay. So, maybe the next time when you feel triggered, take note of it, write it down, and then ask yourself, why did that trigger me? Okay. You have to understand your triggers. Why did that trigger me? Okay. What emotion did I feel, when this trigger happened? It's all about understanding your triggers, okay? What boundary do I now need to put in place so that I'm no longer triggered by this, trigger, okay? What boundaries do you need to give the trigger? In so many words, okay? So when you begin to put these things in place, you begin to understand, your triggers and identify them. Now you're leaning towards healing. You're walking in the right direction, okay? Because again, your triggers, they telling you, it's trying to communicate something to you about yourself. Okay, so we don't want to ignore our triggers. We want to begin to face them, identify them, understand the triggers, and then also put boundaries in place that are, help you to no longer be triggered by it. Okay, and I'll just share one of my triggers because I have come to realize I can't keep my mind on a prodigal. I have to get out of the kitchen, okay, when you're dealing with a prodigal. I have learned that when I think about the hurt and pain, right, the rejection, the betrayal, it distracts me. It throws me off. It throws my day off, right? It causes me to lose respect for my person, right? And I understand scripture. Scripture commands wives to respect your husband. So if I want to continue to line up with scripture and I want to continue to have respect for my king, I can't allow myself to watch him while he is still a prodigal. I can't allow myself or my mind or my thoughts to go over into the past and think about the hurt and pain. No, I got to put boundaries in place. I got to now become aware of what I'm thinking about, because again, the past it could be a trigger, right? So I put things in place, right? So that I'm not dwelling on that. I'm not allowing the past, when the enemy try to bring it up to affect me. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I understand the enemy. The goal of the enemy is to keep you into it with your spouse so that the two of you are never walking on one accord and never come into agreement with this God ordained marriage. So because I have this understanding and I'm giving you this understanding so that you can understand it, because you now have this understanding and knowledge, now you can put things in place so that you are no longer partnering with the enemy to trigger you or move you to now hating your spouse or resenting your spouse or losing respect or even love for your spouse. Okay. Again, we are in divine separation so that we can prepare. You are now preparing your heart to receive your spouse. God want us to respond to our spouses when he send them back the way how the father, the prodigal son father, the way how the father responded to his son in the Bible. He responded with open arms. He, welcomed him back. He wasn't bitter. He wasn't angry. Okay. So, and this is how, we began to respond to our spouses, because we got to deal with what's in the heart. We got to identify our triggers. We got to begin to understand them. And then we got to put boundaries in place so that we're no longer being triggered by these things. Okay. And also make sure while you're in this divine separation, this is the time, this is your prep work. This is what you should be doing. Okay. Don't ignore your triggers. Face them, deal with them. Identify them, understand them. Okay. So that the enemy can no longer trip you up. All right. So with that, I am Tequila Coleman. I'll talk to you real soon. Take care.